Like No Other Boy, a novel, written by Larry Eisenman Center, narrated by Michael Veveiros. Chapter 1. It was a Sunday afternoon at the San Diego Zoo, a beautiful day with a pale blue sky. Tommy and I were standing in front of the zebra exhibit. The zebras were running around and nipping at each other, kicking up dust, tails swishing. But instead of watching the zebras, Tommy stepped away from the enclosure and looked down at the ground. He made his usual droning noise that sounded like a motorboat engine, then put his hand to his mouth and gnawed on his knuckles. They were already reddened to the point of bleeding. He was 8 years old and still biting himself. I watched him and winced. As his father, Chris Crutcher is the name. Nice alliteration. I think no matter how much I'd seen him do this, it still hurt to see my little boy harm himself. In the distance, a lion roared as if he were trying to remind himself of his own kingliness. "Wow, look at those zebras, Tom," I said, hoping to squeeze at least a drop of interest out of him. I was always trying to get Tommy to pay attention to something in the real world. Anything. Desperate to get him to look and respond. "See their stripes? Aren't they cool?" I gently pulled his reddened hands away from his mouth. "Zebras like stripes. Strange, huh? If they see stripes painted on a wall, they'll stand next to the wall. Is that crazy or what?" I just read that on a sign nearby. It was an abstract idea to present to him, I knew, but I did it anyway. Smells of espresso, popcorn, and grilled hot dogs filled the air while crowds of people swarmed around us. Tommy chewed on his hands again, the backs turning wet with saliva that glistened in the bright afternoon sun. He had been biting himself, self-abusing like that, for nearly 3 years, and nothing we'd tried, none of the therapies, seemed to be able to make him stop. Frustrating wasn't the word. "Wouldn't it be cool to ride a zebra?" "I sure think so," I said, still trying to draw Tommy out of himself. I stepped closer to him and knelt down to his level, bringing my face close to his, but Tommy's foggy stare continued to wander off into the distance. He shrugged and said nothing. This was no-speak, his own secret code. He turned completely away from me and hummed louder. "Ooh, durr." Sweat stains dampened the back of his blue shirt. He was being his typical disinterested self.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?